My name is Sarah Thompson. I'm 28 years old. 2 weeks ago, my grandpa Joe handed me a check for $100,000. Yesterday, my own brother Mark slapped me across the face. When I refused to give it to him, the sound still echoes in my ears. His palm hit my cheek so hard my head snapped to the side. I tasted blood where my lips split against my teeth. For a second, everything went quiet. Then my mother screamed. My father just stood there, frozen like always. I didn't scream back. I didn't cry. I simply looked at Mark and said, "Get out of my house." He laughed. That ugly, bitter laugh he's had since we were kids. "You think this is over, Sarah? That money belongs to this family, not just you." He stormed out, slamming the door so hard the frame cracked. I stood in the middle of the living room with my hand pressed to my burning face and wondered how we got here. How the boy who once protected me from bullies became the man who would hit me over money. Let me take you back to weeks. Grandpa Joe had been in the hospital in Portland for almost a month, stage for pancreatic cancer. The doctors said he had days, maybe a week. I drove up every single day after work. I sat with him for hours, reading the newspaper, talking about old fishing trips, holding his hand when the pain got bad. Mark came twice. Once for 20 minutes, and once when the nurses called to say it was probably the end. He never stayed long. He always had an excuse. Work. The kids. His wife Lisa needed him. But I knew the truth. Mark had barely spoken to Grandpa in the last 5 years. Not since Grandpa refused to lend him money for another failed business idea. On what turned out to be his last good day, Grandpa asked the nurse to leave us alone. He reached under his pillow and pulled out an envelope. His hands shook as he gave it to me. Double quotes Sarah. He said, his voice thin but clear, "This is for you, only you. I already talked to my lawyer. It's clean. No one can fight it." I opened the envelope. Inside was a cashier's check for $100,000. My eyes filled with tears. "Grandpa, I can't. You can and you will." He interrupted. "You're the only one who was here. You drove me to every appointment. You sat with me when I couldn't sleep. You listened to an old man ramble about the war and his stupid roses. This is yours. Use it for your future. Buy a house. Go back to school. Whatever makes you happy. Just promise me one thing. Anything." I whispered, "Don't let them take it from you, especially not your brother. He'll try. He always does." I promised. I hugged him as gently as I could. 2 days later, he passed away peacefully in his sleep. The funeral was small. Mark stood at the front like the grieving grandson, shaking hands, accepting condolences. I stood in the back with red eyes and a heavy heart. After the service, Mark pulled me aside in the parking lot. "So what did the old man leave you?" he asked casually. I looked at him. "Does it matter? Come on, Sarah. We're family. We share things." I didn't answer. I got in my car and drove home. For a week, everything was quiet. Then last Sunday, Mark showed up at my small apartment in Salem with Lisa and their 2 kids. He had that smile on his face, the one he uses when he wants something. We were having coffee in the kitchen when he brought it up. "I heard Grandpa gave you a big check before he died." I set my mug down slowly. "Who told you that?" "Doesn't matter. Look, Sarah, things have been tight for us. Lisa's car needs repairs. The kids need new school stuff. I've got some debts I need to clear. $50,000 would really help us get back on our feet. You can keep the rest." I stared at him. Grandpa gave that money to me, specifically to me. Mark leaned forward. He was old, confused. He probably meant it for the whole family. "You're not going to be selfish, are you?" I felt my chest tighten. "No, I'm not giving you any of it." His face changed. The smile disappeared. "Sarah, don't be stupid. I'm your brother, and Grandpa was my grandfather. He made his choice. That's when the yelling started. Lisa tried to calm him down, but Mark was pacing now, getting louder. My mother, who had come over earlier, stood in the doorway looking uncomfortable. Dad stayed on the couch pretending to watch TV. Mark stopped right in front of me. You owe me. I've always looked out for you. Remember when we were kids? I protected you. I almost laughed. You pushed me down the stairs when I was 7 because I wouldn't let you have my bike. His eyes went dark. Give me the check, Sarah. No. I shook my head. No. That's when he slapped me. The force knocked me back against the counter. A glass fell and shattered on the floor. My mother gasped. Lisa covered the kid's eyes, and Mark just stood there breathing hard, looking surprised at himself for half a second before the anger came back. You'll regret this, he said quietly. Then he left, taking his family with him. I spent that night sitting on my couch with an ice pack on my face. My phone kept buzzing. Messages from relatives. Some asking if it was true. Some saying I should share. Some calling me greedy. Only a few asked if I was okay. I didn't reply to any of them. Instead, I opened the drawer where I kept the check and stared at it for a long time. Grandpa's handwriting on the envelope. His shaky signature on the check. I remembered his words. Don't let them take it from you. But I also knew Mark. He wouldn't stop. He never did when money was involved. What I didn't know then was that Grandpa had left me something else. Something much more powerful than money. And Mark had no idea it existed. The next morning, my face was swollen and purple. I called in, sick to my job at the veterinary clinic. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I called Grandpa's lawyer, Mr. Harlan. He answered on the second ring. Sarah, I've been expecting your call. That sentence sent a chill down my spine. You have. We need to meet, today if possible. There are things in your grandfather's estate that concern you directly, and your brother. I drove to Portland that afternoon. Mr. Harlan's office was quiet and smelled of old books and coffee. He sat me down and slid a thick folder across the desk. Your grandfather was very thorough, he said. He knew his family well. What he showed me next changed everything. But before I tell you that part, I need to tell you about the years leading up to this. Because this wasn't just about one check. This was years of resentment coming to a head. Grandpa Joe raised us after our parents struggled. Mom worked 2 jobs. Dad was in and out of work. Grandpa's house became our second home. He taught Mark how to fish and fix cars. He taught me how to plant a garden and stand up for myself. But as we got older, Mark started to change. He dropped out of community college twice, got into schemes, always looking for the easy way, always asking Grandpa for money. I went to nursing school, but switched to veterinary studies because I loved animals more. I worked hard, saved every penny, never asked for help. Grandpa respected that. Mark, on the other hand, married Lisa young and had kids fast. He started a landscaping business that failed, then a food truck, then an online store. Each time he came to Grandpa with big promises and bigger asks. Each time Grandpa gave less and less until finally he said no. That's when the distance grew. Mark stopped visiting. He badmouthed Grandpa to the rest of the family, calling him selfish and senile. I tried to stay out of it. I just kept showing up for Grandpa. Now here I was, sitting in a lawyer's office with a bruised face and a folder full of papers. That could tear my family apart. Harlan opened the folder. Your grandfather added a codicil to his will 6 months ago. Very specific conditions. He handed me a letter written in Grandpa's own handwriting. I started reading, and as I did, my hands began to shake. The letter was dated for months before he died. It detailed everything. Every time Mark had asked for money, every lie he told, every promise he broke. Grandpa had kept records, dates, amounts, even recordings of some conversations he made on his phone. But the most powerful part came at the end. If Mark tries to take what belongs to Sarah, the entire remaining estate, including the house, the savings accounts, and the investment portfolio, will go to charity instead. Every penny. And Sarah will receive an additional $100,000 from a separate trust I set up. I looked up at Mr. Harlan. Does Mark know about this? Not yet, the lawyer said. But he will. He's already called my office twice, demanding information. I sat back in the chair. My cheek throbbed. But for the first time since the slap, I felt something other than shock. I felt power. Mr. Harlan leaned forward. Sarah, your grandfather wanted you protected, but he also wanted Mark to learn a lesson. The choice is yours how we proceed. I thought about my mother's face when Mark hit me, my father's silence, the messages calling me selfish, the years of watching Mark take while I gave. I closed the folder. Let's do this the right way. I said. What happened over the next few days tested every bit of strength I had. Mark didn't wait long. He started a campaign. He called aunts and uncles, posted vague things on Facebook about family betrayal, even showed up at my apartment again. This time without the kids. This time I didn't let him in. I spoke to him through the cracked door with the chain on. You need to leave, Mark. You're making a huge mistake. He hissed. Mom and Dad are on my side. Everyone is. You're going to be alone if you keep this up. I looked him straight in the eyes. I'd rather be alone with Grandpa's wishes than surrounded by people like you. He slammed his fist against the door. You'll pay for this, Sarah. I swear you will. I closed the door and locked it. Then I leaned against it and let out a long breath. That night I made the call Mr. Harlan and I had discussed, the one that would set everything in motion. But Mark had one more move planned, something I never saw coming, something that would force me to decide just how far I was willing to go, to honor Grandpa's last wish. Asterisk that night I made the call Mr. Harlan and I had discussed, the one that would set everything in motion. I dialed the number for the local police non-emergency line. My voice stayed steady as I reported the assault. I described the slap, the witnesses, the broken glass, the red mark that still burned on my face. They took my statement and said an officer would come by in the morning. The next 3 days were hell. Mark called nonstop. He left voicemails alternating between threats and fake apologies. I lost my temper. Sarah, you know I didn't mean it. We're blood. My mother called too, crying, begging me to just give him something so the family could heal. Even my father texted, don't make this worse than it is. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I met Mr. Harlan again. This time, he had more documents. Your grandfather was smarter than any of us gave him credit for. He said he slid a USB drive across the desk. He recorded several conversations with Mark over the last 2 years. On his phone, he saved everything. I plugged it in. The first recording was from 18 months ago. Mark's voice filled the room, loud and entitled. Come on, Grandpa. 50 grand and I'll turn it around this time. The food truck is going to be huge. Grandpa's voice was tired but firm. I've given you enough, Mark. You need to. Stand on your own feet. You owe me, Mark shouted. After everything I did for you. The recordings went on. 6 in total. Each one showed Mark lying about his debts, exaggerating emergencies, even threatening to keep the grandkids away if Grandpa didn't help. The last one was only 3 weeks before Grandpa died. Mark was drunk on the call. If you leave everything to Sarah, I'll contest the well. I'll drag your name through the mud. You hear me, old man? I sat there stunned. Grandpa had known. He had prepared Dotmer. Harlan leaned back. We also have the codicil and something else, a video message he recorded 2 days before he passed. He wanted you to see it if things got ugly. He opened his laptop and pressed play. Grandpa Joe appeared on screen, pale but clear-eyed, sitting up in his hospital bed. Sarah, my girl, if you're watching this, then Mark is causing trouble. I love you both. But love isn't blind. Mark has made his choices. You made yours. That check is yours. The house, the savings, everything else goes to you if he tries to take what isn't his. Otherwise, it goes to the children's cancer wing at the hospital where I spent my last days. Tell him that, and tell him I'm sorry I didn't say no sooner. Tears ran down my face. Not from sadness this time, from pride, from the love in his voice. I left the office with copies of everything. That afternoon, the police officer came. He took photos of my still bruised face. My mother was there visiting, and she finally admitted she saw the slap. She didn't want to get involved, but the truth came out. Mark was issued a summons for misdemeanor assault. But Mark wasn't done. 2 days later, he showed up at my apartment again with Lisa and the kids. This time, he brought printed screenshots of old family arguments twisted to make me look ungrateful. He waved them in my face through the cracked door. You think you're winning? The whole family is turning on you. Mom says you're selfish. Dad agrees. Give me half and this stops. I looked past him at Lisa. She wouldn't meet my eyes. The kids looked scared. I spoke calmly. I have the recordings, Mark. All of them. Grandpa saved your threats, and I pressed charges for the slap. You need to leave. His face twisted. You're bluffing. I held up my phone and pressed play on the loudest recording. His own voice echoed down the hallway. I'll drag your name through the mud. Lisa's head snapped up. She stared at Mark. You said that to Grandpa. While he was dying, Mark tried to grab the phone. I stepped back. Don't touch. Me again. That's when Lisa spoke. Mark, we're done here. I'm taking the kids home. I can't do this anymore. She turned and walked away with the children. Mark stood frozen, watching his family leave. For the first time, I saw real fear in his eyes. He looked back at me. You ruined everything. No, Mark, you did. He left without another word. The hearing for the will and the assault charge happened 3 weeks later in Portland Family Court. The room was small and cold. My mother sat on Mark's side. My father didn't come. I sat alone with Mr. Harlan. Mark's lawyer tried to argue Grandpa was not of sound mind. Then Mr. Harlan played the video. Grandpa's face filled the screen again. His words were clear. His conditions were ironclad. The judge listened to everything. The recordings. My medical photos. Lisa's testimony. She had agreed to speak. After seeing the video, she told the court about Mark's gambling debts and how he had hidden them from her. The judge ruled quickly. The codicil was upheld. The full estate, the house worth $280,000, the savings, the investments, went to me because Mark had attempted to interfere. Mark was ordered to pay my legal fees and was placed on a no-contact order for 1 year. The assault charge stayed on his record. When the gavel came down, Mark slumped in his chair. He looked small, broken. After court, I walked over to him. He wouldn't look at me. Grandpa loved you, I said quietly. He just couldn't trust you. Maybe this is the wake-up call you needed. He didn't answer. I sold Grandpa's house 6 months later. I used part of the money to open a small veterinary clinic in his name on the edge of Salem, the Joe Thompson Memorial Animal Care Center. We offer free care for seniors' pets and low-income families. I named it after the man who taught me what real family looks like. Mark, and I haven't spoken since that day in court. Lisa divorced him for months later. Last I heard, he moved to another state and is working construction. The kids see him every other weekend under supervision. My mother still calls sometimes. She says she regrets not standing up sooner. I'm working on forgiving her, but trust takes time. Every morning when I open the clinic, I think of Grandpa. I think of that final check and the promise I made. I kept it. And I built something good from the ashes of what my brother tried to destroy. If you're watching this and you're dealing with family greed, with someone who only calls when they want money? Remember Grandpa Joe's words. Protect what matters. Stand up even when it's hard. Blood doesn't always mean loyalty. What would you have done in my place? Would you have given in to keep the peace? Or would you have fought like I did? Tell me your own family story in the comments. I read every single comment. Everyone.